And you sent me a text message and you said, why don't you get one of my students, Minna Hill, to come over and help you write a book with ChatGPT? And like my first thought was horror, like, oh, I am not going to write a book with ChatGPT. How dare you?
Hi everyone, hope you're doing fantastic. I am very happy to have Shannon on my podcast, and I met her a year ago in Oslo, and when I met her she was like, oh my god, you're Pakistani, and these Pakistanis are all great in UK and everywhere else I meet them, but what's the deal with them in Pakistan? Why aren't they, if they're so amazing and smart, why aren't they fixing it? Why do I hear trouble coming from Pakistan? So thank you, Shannon, for visiting Pakistan. So she decided to come finally. She actually accepted the invitation like in 2 days, but she took like an hour a year to come. And I'm thankful still for you to come. Thank you for finding the courage to come, finding the time to come. I'm extremely thankful for you that you joined us. It was amazing to learn from you and hang out with you and see so many things from the way you look at things. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
So what did you see? What's different here in the Pakistanis here than in the Pakistanis in the UK? If there was anything.
Society is a big thing. So I've met your family, and they're very much like the Pakistanis that I meet in the UK. You know, smart, funny, warm, welcoming, like breezy. They don't seem like someone from someplace else. You know, I know they're from Pakistan. They might have dark, lush hair, but otherwise they could be from anywhere. And so your family is like the people I meet in the UK. But then we've met a whole bunch of other Pakistanis this week from the school and around town and at a wedding. And they cover a different range of society. So at the school, the students are very poor. The facilitators are working class, and your family is very humble, and but have resources. So I've met a whole bunch of Pakistanis this week, and so how do they compare? Some compare like 1 to 1, and others compare like any society where those that have less feel less connected, and those who, they're just a little bit different. Some of the facilitators or parents of the students wouldn't be my colleagues, but everyone, absolutely everyone, was lovely to me. I did not feel an ounce of disregard, hatred, which I, was fearful of, that people would be like, oh, she's from America or she's from Sweden, and instantly show me some sort of aggression. And that absolutely did not cross my mind once while I was here.
So you go back, your best friend calls you, you tell her everything, and so Shannon, what did you see in Pakistan? What did you do for the whole week? What was the 3 highlights of your trip?
Okay, so you're my best friend, and you're calling me, and you're asking me, and I'd be like, okay, I had just landed. Like, I did not even get to the house before I was rushed to a party. Like, there was Eid Mubarak, and there was a big, people were at the house, and everyone was ready. So I just threw my suitcase in the room, and it was time to celebrate Eid Mubarak and eat a bunch of food. So it was like, we're off to a rocket start, and met your entire family, which were so lovely, and got to hear, you have a nephew who's an entrepreneur, and he's making YouTube channels, and he's super excited with 2 other buddies, and he's doing that, and people who just got married, and they live in Dubai, and then they're traveling. Got to hear all sorts of wonderful stories from your family. So
That's not me, it's her you're telling. She doesn't know.
Oh, my friend. What makes you think that that you're not my best friend? So I would say that was really fun, because I love a good party and I love meeting new people. So that was, terrific. And then so that was day 1. And then day 2 was just a chill day, which was also fantastic. And then I would say to her, but then we started planning for these weddings that we were going to. And it's still Eid Mubarak, and there's no school happening, so I'm not visiting the school yet. But this other American decided to show up and join me, or on this trip, not join me, but he happened to be here while we were here. So we picked him up at the airport, and then went on this wonderful tour with the uncle that I'd met at the party the night before, who was so excited to have 2 Americans coming to Pakistan. And he said it was a dream come true to talk to us and show us a little bit of Pakistan. So we picked up Dan from the airport, and he did not have a chance to even come to the house or take a shower or anything. We went straight on a tour of these ancient graves, which were really cool. And then we had lunch at a truck stop, which was like unusual for us, because you were eating lunch on a bed. Like, what? How do you do that? And there was trucks that had all this color. There was like super fancy painting and carving on like a truck. It just takes stuff. And then we went to this completely built city, like a city of perfection, that's being built. And we toured around, and what did we happen to see? We saw the Eiffel Tower, because of course you're going to see the Eiffel Tower when you come to Pakistan, in the middle of nowhere outside of Karachi. And then we visited old friends, more family, had some more food, and that was, the next big thing. And then I was panicking. I'm telling my friends that I was panicking because I don't have any Pakistani clothes, and we have events to go to. So luckily, one of the dreams of one of Rehan's daughter-in-laws is to be a stylist, because she loves shopping. So I said, well, let me make your dreams come true. I can make 2 Pakistanis' dreams come true. First Kamal, and now Neha. And she took me shopping, and we thought that we were just going to go to the mall that's right across the street, do a little shopping. And we got there maybe at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when we looked at our watch, when we finally decided to stop and have a juice, it was 9:15 at night. We had been shopping for 6.5 hours. And we tried on we went to every single store in the entire mall. And that was super fun, because I felt like I had a stylist, and she was like, no, not your color. That is not formal enough, or this one isn't this. So anyway, we had a great time. And I got a couple of really cute Pakistani outfits, so that made me feel like a princess, frankly, and ready for the next event, which, yeah. So, it was just when you say pick 3 things, it was like there was like 3 things in every day because there was so much happening. So then that was the first, once I got my clothes, then we had that first night, it was what was it called? I don't know what the name is, but they do the henna on your hands. And I've never done henna on my hands because it's like a tattoo, and I'm always very like, oh, I don't want, like, does it look professional? And I'm my own boss, so I decided, yeah, I'm gonna go for the henna. And I hadn't done my research. Everyone else in the room had done the research, so I had to like quickly Google like fancy hand designs, and then they made these pretty. I picked these 2, and it turned out great, except for that I smeared a few because I couldn't help myself while they were drying. Anyway, so fun evening. Got to meet the bride, and she was very demure and very sweet, and that was very funny to me because this bride was very beautiful, but just very quiet, didn't really talk to anyone, and I was starting to get a little worried about the groom. Like, maybe this girl's a real dud because she's not like interacting with anyone. And then somebody told me that that's a Pakistan tradition, that the bride must be very quiet and like sweet and demure, and keep your eyes down, and don't be loud or funny or have a personality. You just have to be very virtuous. And so that was a cultural learning for me. I would have made a terrible bride. So I was like, whew, thank goodness she's not a dud, because I was getting really worried. That guy's a really nice guy. So then we had another day of eating really amazing food, and then another party, which was super fun, and then another outfit. And everyone at these weddings, like when we did the henna, everyone kind of wore fancy casual outfits, and people were very covered. But then the next event, people were a little bit fancier and a little bit less covered, but still covered and segregated. And then, so they have the wedding ceremony, everyone's happy for the bride and groom, they go off, and then they have the final wedding banquet. And let me tell you, Rehan, or my girlfriend, my best friend, bestie, people were dressed to the nines. I mean, that place was like I was blinded by all the sparkle. It was crazy. And everyone, they get to the hall, they're completely covered, they're wearing really, like, they're looking as boring as they could possibly be. Then they get into to their segregated side, and they start like unpinning their stuff and like taking off their hair. And it was like a hall full of Disney princesses. Like, everyone had like the longest, most flowing, shiny hair you've ever seen in your life, and like super fancy braids, and like their makeup is like not only beautiful but also like little rhinestones and crystals and glitter everywhere. And that was the one dress that I didn't go over the top, like I didn't do. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna smile at everyone. And everyone, including myself, looked amazing, including several people who I know very well, who just the day before I had spent several hours with, come up and say, "Hi, Shannon," and me having absolutely no idea who they are, because the transformation was so complete. It was like when Wonder Woman in the old movies, like she's like, "Oh, I'm just a normal woman and I'm going to work," and then she just spins around, and next thing she's like a superhero. That's what happened to all of these women. But that evening, it was just like 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Everyone came in, looked like a hall full of supermodels, and they ate their food, and then it was over. So Yeah. So that was like the event side that was super fun. That the Eid Mubarak and the wedding ceremonies or festivities were super fun. But I didn't come here for Eid Mubarak and wedding festivities. I came to see the Rehan School and to hang out with you, Rehan, and that I'm starting my own business, that I'm going through some, transition in my life where I'm tired of working for other people and I want to work for myself, and I have a lot of skills and a lot of experience working in international development and in sustainability and partnerships, and how do I channel that? So I would say another highlight. Then those are the festivity highlights. Then there's my professional highlights, and then hey, I've come to Pakistan and just chilled out a little bit about my feelings or thoughts about this is a crazy, dangerous place and a hellhole that I should avoid at all costs. Now I'm not feeling that. I'm not getting that vibe anymore. But professionally, and I'm talking a lot. Feel free to interject if you want to, but you're not interjecting at all. You're just listening there. And I'm a talker, so I'm going to keep on talking. So, okay, all right, fine. You're just still not even saying anything. So, professionally, one highlight was you made me. Well, you didn't make me. We were chit-chatting and said, why don't you just do a SWOT analysis of what you can do for your business? So SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and your goals. So I wrote down my goals. I wrote down what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. Did the whole thing, and I just put it up on your whiteboard. And one of my goals was write a book. And so I didn't see you after I pointed that, and then I was off doing different things with I don't know what I was doing, but I was off. And you sent me a text message, and you said, why don't you get one of my students, Manahil, to come over and help you write a book with ChatGPT? And my first thought was horror, like, oh, I am not going to write a book with ChatGPT. How dare you? And then I was like, you know what? Actually, why don't I use ChatGPT to write that lousy first draft and give me some structure? And then, of course, I'm going to go back and, put in my insights and research and personal stories and my personality and whatever. So that's what happened.
I think you forgot the preface and the cover and the chapters.
Yeah. Okay. So then we were talking about the book at some point. Like this whole week has blended into just a porridge of activities. But we were chit-chatting. You said, what's the name of your book? And I said, oh, well, the working title is Youre the Solution, because I think that everyone needs to be part of the solution. And every single one of us is part of the solution to all the world's problems. And you said, okay, all right, well, what's it about? I told you what it's about, what I'm thinking. And you just said that into ChatGPT, and then it spit out 17 chapters. Or no, it spit out 12 chapters. And then I was like, I think it needs to be like 17 short chapters, just kind of to be in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, even though it's not going to follow them. You know, just like, give me 3 more chapters. And it did. And you were like, give me a preface. And 30 seconds later, you were reading me the preface that it had written for me. And the first sentence, I don't think I liked the very first sentence, but then you kept reading, and by the time you had read 3 paragraphs of the preface, I was pretty impressed that this is a pretty good preface. Like maybe I would change a few words and make it funnier, but it was pretty good. So that was my first outline. And then Manahil came over the next day, because why waste a morning? We didn't have anything planned.
Why waste a Sunday?
Yeah, why waste a Sunday? Everyone needed to sleep from the party the night before. And so Manahil and I, in ChatGPT, just wrote an entire book, 17 chapters. And now I have a book.
First draft.
I have a first draft with a preface. We even started on a draft cover to see what that that's got some work to do. So I have a really good first draft of an entire book, and that would not have happened if I wouldn't have come to Pakistan, if I wouldn't have been chit-chatting with you, and if you wouldn't have not given me any real chance to delay or waste time or think about it. And I remember when I said, oh, it's a good first draft, you were kind of annoyed, no, just get it done while you're here, because you're never going to get it done if you wait until you get home. And I there's a part of me that's yeah, that's a risk right there. But I don't really want to disappoint you, and I don't want to disappoint myself, and I don't want to disappoint Manahil that we have started this. I think it would be a win for all of us. You to get an acknowledgement in the credits, and Manahil to get, some credit as well. And anyway, that was fun. It was really fun. And to do something that I've been thinking about for years in 6 hours of just sitting down and doing it was exhilarating. So that felt great. Yeah, and I haven't even got to the part where we went to the school. So I might need to take one breath. So you say something, because anyone who might be watching this might be bored to death of me.
I've heard that you normally do a 45-minute talk on the call. So
I do. I usually send my bestie in the U.S.
So this is this week's call. You can just send it to her.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this is kind of how it is, kind of very stream of consciousness. Oh yeah, and then another thing that was amazing. So another thing that was amazing was visiting the school. I mean, and that was one of the key reasons to come here. But we went to the Rayon AI Accelerator campus and met some of the staff there who are just so enthusiastic. They are loving that they get the opportunity to work with these students in AI and do stuff. You can feel it in the way they talk about the school. So first we went to the AI Accelerator campus, and that was great because I just didn't have really any expectations, but we recorded a podcast there, and you had all these inspirational sayings around the campus, and I just thought it was very impressive. And actually, we didn't get to meet any of the students, which I would have loved to have met the students, but I guess we met, no?
I think you did, because there's only 20 students there.
Well, there wasn't the campus wasn't in full session when we went there.
Total students are 20, and then because of Eid, they don't show up, they took the day off.
So I think we did meet a couple of students. I think they were the ones that helped film the podcast with me and Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You were talking to them. I saw you.
Yeah. So they were great. But it's a new campus, brand new, and what I got was a lot of enthusiasm about how AI can really transform things, and then how people are doing podcasts and they're communicating and they're working on their communication in big ways. So that was that campus, and it was funny to me as your friend to be driving up and see a billboard-size picture of you, and Pakistan's first school of AI, and take photos of that. And, anyway, that was interesting and a delight, but also amusing to me, because I don't think of you as a famous person. I know that you are famous in Pakistan, but when I met you, you were that guy between jobs. So, like, yeah. Anyway, it's funny to me. It's not registering in my head that you're Mr. Famous. So, back to the Rehan School. So we visited it twice, and we're going to go back tomorrow to visit it again. But the first time we visited it, the principal gave us a tour, and I was talking to your daughter on the way in, so I kind of didn't really notice where we were coming in. And I knew it was like, oh, there's a lot of garbage on the street, and this doesn't look like it's a very nice neighborhood. But I wasn't thinking about that because I was talking or listening, or we were having a conversation. So we come into the school, and the first thing that we get to take in, first thing I see is that there's life-size pictures of previous guests that say, like, this is who I am, this is my expertise, and take a selfie with me. And I thought that was just funny. Little did I expect that 3 days later I would have my own life-size picture of myself for the students to take photographs with. So that was amusing and funny, but I like it. I was greeted by an international staff of big pictures. And then the next thing we did was go to the principal's office, and you walk into the campus, and it looks like a traditional school with the long corridors and everything cement and like painted, and I could see that I think there's a photo, like a recording booth at the end of the thing. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to be looking at that. And then I turn into the principal's office, and I'm immediately inside the International Space Station looking down on planet Earth. And I look down on my feet. It's not a floor, it's space. I'm standing in space, and I'm transported into this blue spaceship, and that happens to have the principal's desk. And I'm like, this is weird, this is wild, this is fantastic. Because I've been in a million schools where you go into the principal's office, it's dark, it's dingy, it's serious, there's files, and it's a mess, and it's just not inviting. But this principal's office was fun and whimsical and clean, and had nice, comfortable places to sit, and the desk kind of disappeared into the space station because it was blue, like in space. So I thought that was funny, but I also thought it was like one room. I didn't think anything of it. So then we walked down, I think anyway, we did the tour, and there's some classrooms, and it is really remarkable when you see kind of wooden desks, and a bunch of children who are between the ages of 8 and 13, 14, sitting at these small desks with a laptop and a phone, and they're on the computers and they're on their phone. Nobody's yelling at them. And they're doing stuff, and the facilitators are there, and they're encouraging, talking, and you just didn't think that you would see a whole classroom full of young kids with computers and telephones in a really low-resourced area. Outside everything is brown and gray and dirt with some garbage sprinkled around. And then you come into this classroom, and it's pretty well organized, pretty clean, and everyone's got a computer and a phone. And we're like, okay, this is impressive anywhere, not just in Pakistan, but in Sweden I'd kind of be impressed by. This is a cool space. And then we continued on in the tour, and we, first went to the different teaching rooms, the maker room where everyone learned tools to how to make things, how to, fix things. So as a do-it-yourselfer, I had a lot of respect for that because everyone should know how to use some basic tools and know how to fix things. Then we went to the business room, how to start a business without money. I'm trying to start a business without money or without other people's money. So I was amused by that. Like, here's a room for people to know all the single steps to starting a business without money. And, I felt like I should be taking notes. Like, what? I'm going to just take a picture of this room and then, take notes later. Then the next room was, I think it was the UN General Assembly. So then you walk into the UN General Assembly and you're transported there. And when you stand at the front of the classroom, you are at the podium looking out, and on either side of the room, it's painted so that there are actual people from the UN General Assembly. So if you're standing there speaking, you're feeling like I'm speaking to the UN General Assembly. And I'm going to tell you, it's a pretty powerful feeling to be like, yeah, I'm a big deal. I'm right here in the UN General Assembly getting things done because we have some real things that we need to take care of. We want peace. We want to end poverty. We want, an end to all this nonsense that's going on around the world with, not taking climate change seriously. And, I felt like saying, how dare you? Like one of my heroes, Greta Thunberg. So that was fun. And then on the other side of that room, I took a selfie with me in front of the UN and all of its flags. Like, I'm an international diplomat here taking a picture at the UN. And I just gave my speech. I've helped change the world's perspective. Now let's go. And then right out of that room, you go into the next room, which was like a super cyber room that it's like all dark blue. It's got blue lighting and it looks like the future. It was like the futuristic room. And I'm completely transformed out of Pakistan into these modern spaces that make me feel like things are possible. I'm an entrepreneur in this room. I'm an international diplomat in the next room. I am, getting linked into this interconnectivity throughout the world because I'm in the futuristic world and I'm using AI and I've got my VR headset on and I can do stuff in this room because it's part of the future. And then the tour continued. Like on the next level, you go up and there's this really fancy podcast studio. It looks fantastic and it's got all the equipment right there ready, spotlessly clean, nice backdrop, no junk in the corner, no like fingerprints on the walls. It's classy. And that was just number one. Then you go into the next room, and the next room has 4 different backdrops, like each wall's painted a different backdrop. And one is like nature backdrop, another one is like city cool brick backdrop, another one is kind of like the green screen backdrop, and the other one's like, here's my inspiration corner wall where it has a whole bunch of inspirational quotes. And heading on over to the next thing, and can't remember what the next studio was, but it was just like, then you go upstairs and then there's this full beautiful auditorium which kind of looks almost like a yoga retreat center, but with a stage with like nice lighting that looks like a nice stage. It's got a backdrop so it looks like you're fancy, where the kids do yoga, meditation and prayers and to have their assemblies. It was super impressive, and so I was just kind of blown away because I had zero expectations. I did not know what to expect. I knew the kids were kind of amazing, but that doesn't mean that the location's going to be amazing. I mean, like I said, I've been to lots and lots of schools in low resource areas, and they're all kind of cement brick block buildings that have zero personality, usually with some paint falling off, usually with a whole lot of garbage and junk just kind of lying around. And the school had a little bit of that. Like, there's still some areas that definitely need to be renovated or like straightened up. But the places that they had made an effort to make it something special, they were really something special. So anyway, I loved it. I thought it was great. And I love the fact that when I finished the tour, I thought, oh, I just want to take some photos from outside. And I walked outside, and after being inside, I walked outside and was like, oh, wow. It's a wow. Outside is a dump. Like, literally a dump. Like, there is just huge piles of garbage just like halfway down the street where people are just throwing their garbage because they don't have any other place to throw it. Well, I mean, they're throwing it all along the street. But all of a sudden, I got the epiphany of, this is an extraordinary space in the middle of like a place that has no, like, you don't see any opportunity in the surroundings. Like, it's like pretty bleak. You know, like I said, dirt, garbage, gray, you know, old buildings, paint chipping off of them. Nothing nice. So yeah, they created like a really cool school, you know, and all of that doesn't matter. Like, none of it matters whatsoever if the kids weren't doing what they wanted to do. And here they are going to school to learn how to make a living. You know, poor students learning how to earn like a real sustainable income. And they're doing it, and they're so excited. I mean, the enthusiasm of the kids is like sky high. They 100% believe that they can achieve their goals, and their goals are kind of outrageous when you think of where they're coming from. They're like, I'm going to be a Nobel laureate. I'm going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm going to, you know, make $1 million. And when you hear them say it, you believe it 100%. Like, yes, you are. And how can I help you do it? Because you're so inspiring. And you walk outside and you think, what? Like, how did you even think that way? Because your living situation is not giving me those vibes. Not at all. So anyway, so then we did that. Then there were some other festivities. The second time I went to the school, it was just to celebrate. And my friend Rehan had told me that in Pakistan, they don't have a real culture of giving appreciation. When people do good things, they don't often get recognized for it. So the second time I went to the school, it was for a Parent Appreciation Day. And Rehan met with all the students and all the parents and brought the students up with the parents and gave each of the parents, said some like nice things about the student, and then appreciated the parents for them being able to take a risk in sending their children to this innovative school that they don't know. None of us know what the future holds, but we all kind of do the things that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to send your kids to school, and then when your kid gets out of school, then what? Well, you don't know. And you know that going to a regular school, they're going to learn math and science and maybe English, maybe Urdu, but they don't necessarily have an opportunity to get a job. They don't have a special trade. They don't have a special skill. Whereas at this school, they are learning how to how to do video editing or do something that's internet based, that's related to the things that they love to do or that they care about doing, that's related to a sustainable development goal, a problem to solve, and they are trying to make money on it, and they're doing all the hard work. Like they're practicing over and over and over again how to make interviews. That's a real skill, how to interview strangers. That's one of the best skills you can have, is to be able to reach out and communicate with people you don't know. Then 2, you're actually having to figure out technology, learn how to do StreamYard, learn how to make videos, learn how to edit, learn how to fix things, learn how to do graphics, and then put them up. I am a full-grown adult with a many-year career. I don't know how to do those things, or all of those things, and I don't really want to do all of those things myself as a profession. I want to know how to do those things because I think it's fun and I think we should keep up with technology. But I'm super excited that I now know who to hire to do those things for me that aren't the best use of my time to do. Because they're 200 videos, okay, you know how to do videos. There's not a lot of people who are that prolific. So yeah, that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed seeing the parents at the appreciation be both proud of their children, but also kind of proud of themselves in being recognized. Like, I just loved watching their faces light up to get this award. And it wasn't just an award for the kid, which they were also proud of, but they were proud of themselves. You could see that maybe they'd never received an award before. We took a lot of selfies. And then we had just a great time. Like, that took forever. Oh my goodness, it was a long day. Not gonna lie, it was a long day. But it was so fun to see the kids happy, the parents happy, and the parents were there the whole day. And I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't see any complaints. And they were happy. So then we started having fun. And it started out with, there was a singer. Just a singer with like the most fabulous hair and like a pretty shiny suit came up and started singing. And I don't know what the song, it seemed like it was a song that everybody knew. And it ends with everyone shouting, Pakistan. And he was fantastic. And the energy just went like whoosh up after that. Then I think we had like another 50 awards to hand out. But then everyone got giddy. Like, we were getting giddy. There was some more singing. Dan got up and sang a song, and everyone was chit-chatting, and there were some speeches. Your children gave us a speech. You gave a really lovely Rehan, because if I'm talking to my babe, bestie, I'm not going to say that. Rehan gave a great speech. It was really thoughtful. You could tell that everyone was listening very intently, and it felt genuinely heartfelt. And then after a bunch of speeches, I gave a speech, Dan gave a speech, some of your kids gave a speech, the principal gave a speech, some of the facilitators gave talks. You said nice things or Rehan said nice things about pretty much everyone, just to kind of give some appreciation for showing up and being your best self for both yourself and for the kids. And then it ended with the grand finale, which was that you asked me to show everyone how they could walk like an Egyptian. And so I did a little walk like an Egyptian dance and that was the end of that. And it was great. And then today we had a tourist day going around to old town, like through the old part of Karachi. I mean, first we saw the shrine to the founder of Pakistan, which was really beautiful, and phenomenally taken care of, which was a real contrast to go directly from there, directly into the old town of Karachi, with like telephone wires, just in the craziest maze, and beautiful old buildings that are like falling down, but all this life and activity and industry happening at the same time. We went there, and then where did we go after that? We didn't go directly to the water reserve. Where did we go after that? From the old town. Eventually we went to the mall, but before that we stopped off at the beach where a friend of Rehan's who used to work at the UN decided he was going to turn a dump that was right next to the ocean into a wetland reserve, kind of. It's not a reserve, but he's just planting trees, fixing this, what was a garbage dump, and turning it into a oasis of biodiversity and restoration of the ecosystem in that area. And it's the ocean, and it is a wetland area, and it should be teeming with life and teeming with systems that help make the water pure and clean and whatever. There was a lot of garbage there, but there was also so much greenery, in that it used to be an actual dump, and now it is just kind of this lush green wetland space with flamingos, pink flamingos. Like, I didn't expect to see pink flamingos, and you could hear all the birds chirping. And
how many flamingos were there?
Hundreds. There was hundreds. I mean, they were kind of a little bit far out. What I really wanted, it was like them to just all take flight, just because turn the sky pink. So we watched the sunset there, and what did we do? We did something between touring through.
Karachi Club.
Then we went to the Karachi Club, and so we went first over the river, and then back, and then, frankly, I needed a cup of coffee, and so Rehan took us to the Karachi Club, and it was very fancy, right on the water, so beautiful, and had a cup of coffee. But then we walk in. We were just going to get a cup of coffee, but then there were some people there, and we ended up saying hi, and then we started chit-chatting, and next thing you know, 2.5 hours have gone by, because...
What was this now?
It was just an hour? Well, it was just an hour, but we had 2.5 hours worth of conversations in 1 hour, and it was delightful. I met...
Met the Chamber of Commerce president.
We met Miriam Khan, who's like a poet and an expert on international relations and we took photos, and then we went to the water thing. Then we went to the mall. What is it called? The Diamond Mall? Dolmen Mall, which is a very fancy mall, which would be a very fancy mall anywhere in the world. I mean, it rivals any American mall, any Dubai mall, certainly better than any Swedish mall. It's way better than any Swedish mall. And then we went to eat dinner, and we went to this nice rooftop outdoor seating restaurant. It was beautiful and amazing, except for, you know what they kept saying that they were going to serve me? Brains. They said they were going to serve me brains, and I'm a vegetarian, and just the thought of eating brains made me... Can you guys please quit saying you're going to feed me brains? And they thought it was really funny. Everyone kept saying that they were going to feed me brains. And then I think the brains may have come to my end of the table at one point, and I was like, somebody get me the lid to put on top of this. Thank you very much. But then we went down to the House of Pan, or Sweet Pan House, which is on the bottom floor, on the ground floor. And I didn't know what pan was, so I got to watch the guy make this thing. And apparently it's a very traditional Pakistani breath mint for after dinner. It's like a digestive for after you eat. And we've been eating so much. Oh my gosh. So I'm like going back to Sweden, and people are going to be like, what happened to you? You're just like a fatty. They just fed me so much good food. And so, but anyway, so we get to see the guy make the pan right there, and it's, pretty elaborate, and it was great, and it was cool.
Stuff on a leaf.
Yeah, it's a edible leaf and has all these spices and things on it, and then they wrap it up. And I didn't get this. I mean, the guy who did it, his name is Mohammed something, he rolled it up and then said, open your mouth. I'm like, what? And he said, open your mouth, and just shoved it. I could feel the point hit me in the back of the throat. And I have this big mouthful of a leaf of flavor. And then he was like, okay, now you chew it. And I'm like, and I can't do it. Meanwhile, Dan, because he's a big giant man and he's game for anything, they said, oh, we're going to give you a fire pan. And they stuck some cloves into the side of this pan and then lit it on fire. And then I was like, open your mouth, Dan. I'm going to stick this flaming leaf into your mouth. And he didn't miss a beat. He just took the whole flame and I think he thought that his face was going to catch on fire. Thank goodness he doesn't have any facial hair, because it could have been dangerous. And he was game. He ate not only that one, but then like 5 minutes later, the guy was like, oh, you're done with the fire pan? Here's another style of pan, and then shoved another one right in his mouth. So we had like pan galore. But so cool. It was really good. And I'm eating things that I'm not normally eating. I'm never going to eat brains, never. But the pan was great. The pan was great. The palak paneer was great. The bread's great. So yeah, that was my week. But tomorrow we're gonna go back to the school, teach magic. I'm gonna pack up my stuff to go home with like all my fancy new shalwar kameez. Is that how you say it? Shalwar kameez, right? Shalwar kameez. And I'm thinking I might be just having to be wearing those outfits all summer long, just because they're cool and breezy. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's been a great week. Packed full of activities. And when you hear how I just rattled on for it's got to be like 45 minutes now, this is what I would be doing. You can just send this whole recording to my friends as my 10 things to know about me this week. And yeah, fun. It's going to be interesting to me when I go back, because during this week, I have done more things for my business than I have done myself, by myself in the last, I don't know. I mean, I've been working for other people up until recently, and then when I decided to work for myself, I'm still doing kind of everything but my business. And so here I've recorded 4 podcasts, my own podcast, your podcast, the school's podcast, another school podcast, Dan's podcast. I have written a book. I have outline. I have networked. I've got some new connections. So when I think when I go back and I look at this trip, it'll be as a clear point in my journey towards starting my own business, as that time where I started doing the things I need to do to get where I want to be, which is why I came here, because I saw those young students taking action and being bold in ways that I haven't been. And I'm a bold person. I have a lot of energy. I take a lot of action, but not really the right action a lot of times. So I came here to be inspired by those students, and that has happened, and along with a whole bunch of other things. So it's been a really amazing week. Thank you.
So what are you going to miss?
What am I going to miss? I'll probably miss biryani. There's no good biryani in Sweden. I probably can get it in the U.S. I will miss having an accountability. Like, we've been talking about business, we've been talking about the future and about how to make the world a better place and ending poverty. I really love those kind of conversations, and don't have a whole bunch of people in my life who also love those conversations, so I'll miss that. I'm gonna miss the colors, like, that are everywhere in the clothing. Anyway, I mean, it's funny how a country that is so gray on the outside, like that, you know, the roads are gray, the buildings are kind of gray, that things are gray, and then all the people are like pink and red and blue and, you know, full of color. So I'll miss that. Going back to Sweden, where, you know, the uniform is black and white and gray and possibly beige, but not a lot of color. Yeah, those are the things I'll miss. But, you know, we're keeping in touch, you know, distantly. You know, it's not the same when you're living in somebody's house and you're seeing each other daily. But, yeah, so I'll miss the accountability partner, that little nudge to, like, take action immediately. Don't wait. And, yeah, I'll miss that.
Thank you so much, Shannon. That was beautiful. I hope your journey continues in the ways you want it to be. And I hope that other people through you can see this country and come back for some nudges, come here for some nudges, see the world in a different way. And I'm sure you will have another hour of things to say to yourself when you go back, because you will miss a lot of things more which you don't realize or don't want to share yet, but they will come to you. And I'm very happy that you came and gave us the honor to host you.
Yeah. Well, I have an idea. Why don't we do another one of these, like, you know, 1 month later, what has happened? Or maybe 3 months later. 3 months is probably better since I'm moving and whatever. But, you know, what changed? Like, let's just do hey, let's check in. Where is she now? What has happened? You know, has she come back? What's her next plans for engaging with Pakistan? Who knows? I have that. Put it on the possibility. It's an option. It's an opportunity. See how it goes.
Well, another opportunity for you is, as I said, you should start a SDG startup studio where you can take some of the kids and then raise a fund or mentor them and let them make the $1 million for themselves, and at the same time your business can make the money off them. This way you will have a lot of children who would work and do things your way and under your mentorship and achieve the goals you really want to achieve. And I think this country is an amazing place for this, because it has a lot of people. And as you saw today, that the guy is running a school with 300 girls for just $2,000.
Yeah.
And that kind of opportunity does not exist in a lot of countries, I think. It's very expensive. The world is very expensive.
Yeah.
This is one of the most inexpensive countries in the world. and people are hungry, people are wanting to be adopted in this way. And I personally think that one of the businesses here is that McDonald's should run 10 schools just to produce McDonald's management, McDonald's staff, McDonald's teams, McDonald's remote workers, McDonald's programs. That's nothing but just McDonald's. Same thing for Facebook, same thing for Google. They can just make 10 schools with 3,000 girls or boys themselves, which is costing them what, $20,000 a month? It's like a joke.
Yeah.
And it's done remotely, and they don't have to worry about insurance and gazillion other things. And there's 27 million students in this country who don't go to any school.
Yeah.
That's a lot of human beings right there. It's like 2.7 Swedens right there, which you can partner with and change real lives, not just talk, but real life-changing opportunity. Because these kids in 10 years of training will become unbelievably, phenomenally, crazily amazing. And I see that, and I think the most important factories we need to put here is these human polishing factory, if there's anything.
Yeah.
So I leave you with that. Thank you again. It's really late. Thank you for taking the time to do this podcast with me.
No, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.